Welcome back to Hot Rod Guy Garage. This is going to be another episode on the 65 Mustang hacking job. So follow me along through the intro, guys, and I'll be back. Alright, so it has been another week, and where we left off was getting the vent windows and door glasses installed. So our friends over at Kentucky Mustang have sent us another box of parts, so make sure you check them out, guys, at KentuckyMustang.com. There is a discount code down in the description below. If that discount code does not work for you, let me know in the comments and I will get it fixed. So let me flip it around. So hopefully everything in this box will be enough pieces to get the rest of this interior installed. So I've got our seat hinge covers on the inside, our seat hinge covers on the outside, which is that chrome trim. Over there it was all messed up. We got our door plugs in here where our door window adjustment's at. We got the hardware for the seat pieces, just in case it was missing it. We got armrests and bases. The mounting bolts for the seats are here. And we got our seat belts. So let's get this stuff installed in this video. And I think where we are going to start is going to be with the water shields for the door panels. And they aren't in the box because I got them outside, and there's a trick with those I'm going to have to show you. But the SKU number for Kentucky Mustang is right here. These are for the water shields for the inside quarter panels inside your doors. They're going to come rolled up, and that does present a problem. So I'm going to flip around and show you what I had to do to get these things flattened out. So being these things are cardboard and tar covered, I weighted down the cardboard sides of it and placed some heavy objects on them to help flatten them out. And I know it seems counterproductive to wet them down, but like I said, guys, these things are like a paper cardboard type of material, and they're tar backed on one side. So by wetting them and letting them sit on the sun with something heavy on them, they will flatten out enough we can actually get them on the doors. So let's get this stuff dried out, and I'll be back here in a few. So while that stuff's drying out, guys, let's get these seat belts installed in the car. These are the seat belts I got him, and right here is the SKU number for them. These are a darker red, but they're fairly affordable. They're a nice vintage looking seat belt with the old style airline style buckle clasp. They do come with mounting hardware. So let's get these things installed. And as you can see, those dark red seat belts are a nice match for our interior. So since we've already made the holes in our carpet, I'm going to make sure our belt identification tags, when they lay flat, are on the downward position. I'm just going to start this bolt and this one. When we done these floors, I had to go to an aftermarket bolt here, and I'm probably going to have to drill this buckle out for it. If this belt will not pass all the way through, we're going to put a nut on the back side. Pretty much that's where you're going to install your belts. If you don't have an insert in your floor there, you will have to use the supplied large washer and nut to bolt these things down. So got both side belts installed. On the inside ones, I just run a drill step bit through those and use the small spacer on the back side of the carpet to kind of space them out where we put that extra insulation and allow these belts to kind of pivot on both sides. So at this point, the belts are installed. I'm still waiting on those pieces for our door panels to dry. So let's work on the seat stuff. And I can only imagine what joys behold this here, but we gotta get it done, so let's get to it. So I can only imagine what kind of mess is behind these. So let's get these 3 Phillips head screws out that look like they come from Ace Hardware, or your Home Depot or Lowe's or something. They do not look correct. Let's get those out and see what awaits us behind these. Surprisingly, it don't look like a whole lot of mess. Once again, more of the non-painted stuff, but you don't see this. I'm going to go ahead and clean behind this real well. This piece is going to be important to note because it is supposed to be there. And they didn't even care enough to clean any of this stuff out. So let me get this cleaned up with some of our Awesome and a towel. This stuff works pretty good on vinyl, guys. You don't really have to rinse it off. You just kind of wipe it down until it's dry. And there's not a whole lot of sense not to clean this stuff up while you're in there. I just really hope this seat right here, when we get our new ones opened up, I really hope they didn't booger these holes up. So this is our new hardware right here. You see SKU number there. And these are the moldings. I did have a little trouble finding these on their website, but I sent them an email and they responded almost instantly with the correct part number. So as you guys can see, I haven't opened these yet, so we're going to see what we got. These are Dynacorn pieces, so hopefully they're in pretty nice looking shape. Because the way reproduction stuff's been going for this car, even the factory stuff, it ain't had a whole lot going for it. So those are a very nice piece. And we'll make this thing look about 20 billion times better. So what we got here, we got our reprop trim pieces, and the way these go on, they're going to have this plastic spacer here, and you should have a plastic spacer here and one up here at the top hole. So hopefully this will get this mounted correctly, since we didn't have our top spacers. And you're going to have 3 screws right here. And sometimes, guys, this is one of the challenges of doing these videos, is trying to have 3 hands and make sure you guys can see what's going on, because that's not always the case if things going well. So having to wrangle them spacers in sometimes makes for a fun little job when your stuff's not sitting on something flat, like on the ground or on the table, because every table around this shop is currently filled with junk or car parts of some sorts, either for this car or my 66. We are all over that hole. Right there it is. So 3 down, 1 to go. Alright, so we got all them started. I'm going to switch to a little better screwdriver, get these tightened down, and then I'll be back. And that seat side trim probably is one of the nicest repop pieces I put on so far. All the screw holes lined up, all the screws went in, tightened up. We had all the spacers in there. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this one. Get 1 screw right there, and this should come right out. So this is our old one. It has some cracks in it. Don't know if you can see them in the video or not. But I got a set of neutral ones for this instead of colored, because I knew I was going to have to dye them anyway. So this is the part number for the neutral colored ones. So I'm going to get these opened up, guys. I'm going to clean them with some degreaser. And we're going to get these things dyed with our red interior dye that I've been using on this project. And I'll come back when it's time to put them on. And alright, when you paint anything like this, I go in here and I just put a light coat on the inside. And usually it's better to paint when you don't have a crackhead over there burning plastic. But what I'd like to do is put this light coats on this stuff, guys, just miss stuff like this. I'll put one light coat, let it dry, and then I'll come in here and put another light coat like that. And I'll let that fully dry out. And just put enough on this where it makes it the color. You don't want to really cram any kind of vinyl dye or vinyl paint on this stuff where it's super thick, because it will peel off later. And once your pieces dry out, guys, you're going to drop your screw back through. And they had these shoved up inside the seat, but it should technically be on the outside of the seat. So you just want to make sure you get it pushed up so it looks decent, and get this thing snooked down right there. So that looks a lot better than that mess they had on there before. And it pivots with the seat. So I went ahead and just slid it back up inside the seat. That vinyl put way too much pressure on that piece of plastic. It looks fine. I just didn't like how they had it done. There's nothing really changed with the upholstery because it's already been put on there. But I did go back in here and I painted that screw red because it was in pretty poor shape. So it'll at least look decent inside the car and help all the ugly kind of blend in together. So we made the seat look a lot better. It still don't look great, but it looks a ton better than what it did when we first started by just changing those two trim pieces, getting that one dyed. And I could have probably fixed his old plastic trim pieces, but these things are brittle and old, guys, and you could plastic weld it on the back side and just cross your fingers and hope the paint filled in the cracks on the front side. But this stuff's super cheap. And I gave you a discount code down in the description below for Kentucky Mustang, so there's no excuse not to buy new. So let's get the seat in the car. We'll go ahead and put the driver's seat in the car. Then we'll change the trim stuff on the passenger seat. And then hopefully our door panel water shields will be dried out by then. So let's get to it. Alright, so got the seats installed on both sides. It's important to use the factory nuts on these seats when you bolt them to the floor. Looks a lot better with the new trim and the trim on the inside too. That doesn't stick out. Those new seat belts turned out pretty decent. You give the car a pretty decent look on the interior. And when you install them seats, guys, you do not want to forget these rubber plugs that go with your floor panel on the bottom. If you leave these plugs out of a Mustang, they will collect dirt, water, and all kinds of stuff and get up there under those seat bases and rot your floor pans and stuff out. So make sure you buy these. A rubber plug kit for these cars is very, very inexpensive, and you can also get those at Kentucky Mustang. So the only other things left on the interior, I've got to get a shifter boot that fits the shifter. We've got to get these door panels on there, and we're getting pretty close to having all the interior in this car assembled. So let's get busy with that. I'm going to stick this last plug in the floor on the driver's side, and we'll move on to door panel stuff. So there's several ways you can install these water shields onto your doors. The factory used butyl rope, that old tar looking stuff on your doors. Most of these cars are missing the water shields by this point in time, and while I did omit the rear ones, we're not using that factory mass back installation on the inside of the rear quarter panels. On the front, however, we are using the factory style door panels, and there's not no insulation. So what I've done, I have attached a water shield to the door panel itself. And I've already cleaned up one side door panel, and I'm gonna bring y'all for a ride on the other one, but I'm going to flip around and show you where these things go. That paper cardboard and tar backed water shield, the tar back side or plastic side on this newer stuff goes towards these open holes in your door. and it will be glued on with, like I said, that butyl, old sticky butyl tar stuff is going to be stuck in random places around this door to hold that piece on. However, you can also put it on your door panel clips and attach it to the back of your door panel, which is the route we're going to go with this car. Mostly because I don't really want to put that tar sticky stuff on there. Just in case I have to take this stuff back off. These door panels are already not in the greatest of shape, but they are usable. So putting it on there like this, and another reason I don't like to put them on, especially these aftermarket ones, is a lot of times these holes don't line up for stuff. You know, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But I've got this door panel cleaned up as good as it's going to get. It does have some defects in it. You know, it's got some ugly spots in it. But overall, they're pretty fair. Compared to the rest of the car, they're in pretty decent shape. Decent shape. Now, I would like to put the pony interior door panels on at this point, because putting the pony interior in the car, especially seat covers without the door panels or the vinyl covered rear panels in it, it does look kind of funny, especially if you know what you're looking at. A lot of people don't. So the standard door panels are what he had, and that's what we're going to use on this car. So let's dig into this. So your door panel, if you put your water shield on this side, you want to make sure that your armrest clips are in your doors right here. And you want to make sure that if you need to go back in here, that you've already addressed anything you may need to do. You want to spray rust proofing in the bottom of the doors, and now is the time to do it. But these door panels, what I like to do, especially on these cars that have painted doors, I'm going to start lining these clips up. I'm just going to kind of work them in one at a time, because this is where a lot of people go wrong with a door panel. They'll just start smacking this thing on there. I'll leave it kind of pulled back a little bit, and I'll start one at a time and put direct pressure only on the clips that need to be installed at the time. Because sometimes if you just start smacking this, you're going to punch these clips through the cardboard back on this door panel, and you're going to have lumps all over it. And nobody wants that. So if you just kind of use some light pressure a little at a time, you don't want to do that. And sometimes you find one that, you know, the clip just don't quite want to go in. So you may have to back up here and get your clip back out. And it could be the clip itself, or it could be the door panel itself is already damaged. In this case, this car was already missing this clip. I figured that'd be a good one to show you what not to do, because it already had some damage there. But the way these door panel clips work is they're literally just a spring, and they need to be pushed in. And this door will not accept this clip. And sometimes it might be okay just to omit one in one spot, as long as it sits flush and it's not loose. So you just want to make sure as you go that you take these things and push them in. Sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. But you don't want to make sure that you don't break this door panel as you go. They are somewhat fragile. Just like that, that door panel should go on there, something like that. And like I said, guys, sometimes you may have to relax these things slightly with a pair of pliers. There is different styles of these door panel clips. There's some that are black, there's some that are red. Not all of them will always pop in the hole and actually hook on. It is okay in some situations to omit one or two in places that they won't go into. But I'll kind of show you. You see me install that door panel. I'll show you what they done before. They just went that whole smackle method. And you can still kind of see witnesses of it in this door panel. So, if you get this door panel, you can see it down through there. That is where that vinyl and them door panel clips, at one time, somebody went in there and done this to pop him in there. Use your thumb, push directly on that clip. You can feel it through that vinyl. And by doing it with your fingers, you prevent this kind of damage. So at this point, you're ready to put your armrest and armrest bases on and all your crank handles and your door handle. And another thing to note, you may be tempted to try to put this handle forward like this, because it looks better on the door panel. But if you do, you're not going to be able to roll your window up and down because it's going to contact it. This door handle, which I've not installed, just kind of stuck it on here, should actually be in this position right here, pointed at like a 45-degree upward. It just absolutely refuses to go on this car for whatever reason. I've never seen such in my life. Finally went on. But not even the simple stuff on this car goes easy. It all fights. Alright, our next topic of discussion right here is going to be these old armrests. As you can see, the bases are broken. The pads, they look somewhat okay. Now, as cheap as they are, I just went ahead and ordered new. This is going to be the SKU number for your base. Right here for your standard door panels. And for your standard red armrest, it's going to be this right here. So these things are in pretty poor shape. They've been rough handled, broke off. To install these, you see it's got a taper like this. This taper should go towards the inside of your car. And I'm going to fall over the camera. But this just sits down in here like this. As you can see, that taper goes towards the outside of the car. And typical with aftermarket stuff, you're going to get a little weird fitment things go on. And you're going to have two screws that drop up through here. And you're going to use a screwdriver to tighten them up. And these things will only screw together one way. If not, your screw holes won't line up. But these do look a lot better than the old ones that come out of it. So, chrome ain't great on them, but they'll look fine in the car. And you want to use the correct style of screw to hold these bases to your door panel. I'll flip it around and show you the passenger side already installed. And installed, it should look something like this with the screws in the correct places. So, one side down, one to go, I guess. So, let's get that one on there. But you said you were going to clean the other door panel up like 5 minutes ago. Yeah, I know. I went ahead and decided to put the other one on it first. So, let's get this thing cleaned up. See what this door panel looks like. Alright, this door panel is a little worse for wear. We got some tar looking stuff. We got red paint overspray. Got some tar looking stuff, tar, red paint, green corrosion from the armrest bases, more red paint. You know, generally just red paint overspray all over this thing. I don't know if you can see it in the video or not. We got a few little defects and a little bit more dirt still down in some of these cracks I'll have to clean out. But I think I'm gonna have to get some reducer on a towel, try to get this soft. So let's get to that. So I got some of our urethane reducer right here. I saturated this towel. This will not hurt the vinyl, but it should take paint overspray off, or at least 90% of it, without hurting the vinyl. It's not good to put on the vinyl, but it shouldn't hurt it. It's not something you want to leave on there a long time. You just kind of want to wipe in one spot and go. Because reducer and thinner will melt the vinyl, guys. Vinyl is plastic. So you want to get in when you do this, and you want to get out just as fast. Not all these places make clean off. We're going to try to get it looking the best we can with what we have. So this is another reason I'm not a real big fan of that butyl rubber, because if you get somebody that don't know how to install it, you're going to end up with it everywhere. So just try to get all of it off we can as fast as we can. With as little damage as we can, at least off the visible portions. So you may have to flip your towel several times, and you just want to get, like I said, you want to get this stuff off as much as you can. If your panels have been dyed before, do not do this. It will rub your paint off. If your factory color, it's fine to do it this way. But got quite a bit off right there. It does look a significant amount better. But now I do see some more defects in this panel than what we've previously seen. And you definitely want to keep your reducer away from plastic or anything that you've already painted. So it does look like we have a place here that's a hole, and there was another tear in it up here, right there, I seen. But that's about as good as it's going to clean up. At least get the red tint off this area and that big blob of red up here, and get all the tar stuff off the front half of it. It'll look pretty decent in the car. So we'll flip it over. We'll see how many clips we're missing. Quite a few. Now, this car was missing clips when I took these door panels off originally, so missing quite a few. So luckily I've got a bag of AMK door panel clips, and there are differences in these clips. Like I said, there's some red ones like these, and they're black ones. Generally they'll interchange, sometimes they won't. So keep that in mind. The red clips are generally for deluxe door panels, the black ones are generally for standard door panels. And I'm going to show you the difference between the standard and the deluxe door panel clips. You can sometimes use the deluxe clips on a standard panel if your panel is damaged. And I'm going to show you why. These clips are exactly the same where they clip in the door. In the clip portion of it, right here and right here. These are identical. I know it's a little blurry. We'll hold these up. There is a offset difference, you see it. Sometimes this offset difference is enough to get a damaged panel to clip in a factory hole. So just a little trick, if you're trying to use old panels, make sure you have both these sets of clips at hand, because you may need to use the deluxe ones in certain locations and the standard ones where you're not damaged. And like I said, I just attach my water shields to my door panels. Sometimes these holes won't line up, guys. You'll just have to make them line up. Same with your armrest holes. They don't line up, so, you know, reevaluate that situation too. So, got those holes punched. And back inside the door here, I'm going to show you the spring. This spring right here should sit inside your door panel like this. And it holds that door panel up against these handles. And it also takes any slack that you might have inside your roller or this out of the equation. If your door panels are somewhat sketchy like these are, you can omit these springs. But you may have a very slight gap between your handles and knobs. But that's something to keep in mind. And I have seen people put them on like this too. Sometimes it's easier just to omit them so you don't cause future you, any more problems. Especially with a door panel that's compromised. So I put them on the rear back there. Those are metal panels, they'll be fine. On the front up here, I do not feel comfortable putting them on these aftermarket panels that are super flexy. They're about half as stiff as an OEM panel. And they've already been abused and monkeyed with enough that they're in usable shape, but they're not in great shape. So let's get the door panel on it. So guys, just like the other side, we're going to take these things. I'm going to start lining up clips one at a time. I'm just going to pop one in at a time as we go. And I'm going to take care to line these clips up. And once you get one or two in, you need to kind of get two lined up at a time. And sometimes these clips just won't go in. So you can omit one, like I said before, you can omit one if you need to. If it won't go. But do not leave a bunch of these clips out, because it won't do nothing but cause problems. Just want to take care and push on each one of these clips individually till you get them all in. And sometimes you just get one that's damaged and won't go in the hole, especially in an area that might have already been damaged in this door panel. In those cases, it's usually more than fine to omit them if you have to. Because when you bolt the armrest down, it'll hold it down. So there's something real funny about these door panels and these doors. Like I said before, this is a Taiwan door. For whatever reason, neither one of these doors want to hold a clip in this location. It's not going to hurt it to be gone. And sometimes you just get a bad clip. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to get another new clip and see if I can at least replace one out of these two. And I went in here and used one of our deluxe door panel clips because that was the door panel itself that was faulty in that location. And to put our armrest on, I'm going to go ahead and stick our armrest screws in right here. And we're going to use the appropriate size Phillips screwdriver. This is number 3 Phillips. I'm going to try to find where our clip is in one of these holes or the other. Whichever one's easiest to find first. Like I said, these door panels have had quite the life at this point. And once we get one started, I'm going to go and get our other one started. get one, you can pretty much feel out your second one. Usually, you can feel it out. Just go in there, get these snugged up good. You won't over tighten them. You just want them good and snug. If you over tighten them, you're just going to break these bases again like they did before. So just a little over this hand snug, we'll get those things installed. Well, look who's been missing from this video. You want to remind them about your t-shirts, Daisy? You trying to let them pet you through the camera? Yeah. So make sure you check out our merchandise store, guys. Alright, and our next thing we need to install is our window crank and our door handle. You need to have one of these plastic washers at least behind the window crank, preferably behind both of these. This is the part number for the door handle. This is the part number for the window crank. And Kentucky Mustang does sell this as a kit with all the cranks and handles that you need for your car. However, you will need to buy these plastic washers by themselves. The rear takes one with a smaller hole, so you'll need two with a small hole. You'll need four with a large hole. And if you put the springs on, you at least need the springs on the window crank sides. So you'll need 4 of those springs total, and they are the same front to rear. And I'm sure y'all can see this door panel is wavy as the ocean. Like I said, you need to make sure on your window crank side, even if you don't put the spring in that, you need to at least have this plastic washer right here behind there. And sometimes this aftermarket stuff, it'll fight a little bit. These things should just push right on there, guys. But sometimes they don't. You need to figure out why. But your door handle, let's see if it'll go on there, at least. And sometimes these things might have a little piece of metal in them, or some other kind of small defect, or the clip may just be a little tight. But you shouldn't have to remove the clip to install these things. They were just super tight to get them clips on there. You want to make sure that your door, inside door handle, points up at a 45-degree angle so that it clears your window crank when you roll this window up. The last thing you want to do is be contacting this with your hand when you're rolling the window up and down. And another thing you don't want to forget is the plugs that go in these locations where your window adjustment is. It should be these little chrome plugs like this. I got these from Kentucky Mustang. They are very inexpensive. And they just push in these locations here. And sometimes they may fit loose because your door may be a little oversized. And you can take and just slightly flex these tabs out. Tighten those up in the hole just to make sure that they don't rattle. So all in all, the door panels turned out to look pretty decent. They're not perfect, and I got his Mustang floor mats back in there, and also installed the Daisy accessory that always comes with a classic Mustang. So we got one more thing to install. It is going to be this right here. This is our horn ring. I'm going to try to find you the Kentucky Mustang part number. It is right there. That is your SKU. And what we have is a brand new horn ring and a Kentucky Mustang business card. So make sure you check out the description, guys. There'll be a 5% off discount code down there for everybody to use. If that code does not work, make sure you let me know in the comments below. So let's get this thing unboxed, see what it looks like. So guys, this is your horn button / horn ring. This thing is very nice. And these things are very easy to install. you want to make sure your steering wheel's tight. So make sure you tighten up your steering wheel first. Make sure it's straight. If you've had the car apart, I'll flip it around. As you can see, there's some tabs here in your steering wheel. There's corresponding tabs in this horn ring. So what you're going to do, you're just going to take this. You're going to get this thing. And I might not be able to do this one-handed, but you're going to line those tabs up until they sit in there. And I ain't going to be able to do this one-handed, but you're going to line these tabs up and this horn ring will twist into place. So you want to push and twist at the same time, and that will get that horn button into place. That way all you have to do, push these to blow your horn, and that really sets off our dash. So a little further away, you'll notice that there is a little mismatch here to the steering wheel. This is a reproduction steering wheel also of unknown quality. I'm not going to put the blame on the horn button, but it does fit and it does look nice inside the car. So guys, it's the next day at this point, and I think we're at a good stopping point on the 65 Mustang for this week. So I've got to order a few more parts, like those little rubber plugs that hold them door rubbers at the tops of the doors on both sides. I've got to find a set of those. There's a few other little things that I need to do, and here pretty soon we're going to be turning into that old 289 that I pulled out of this car, and we'll see what kind of condition it is inside. Hopefully, unlike the rest of the car, hopefully it's in good shape. I would save him a considerable amount of money that we could just clean this thing up, paint it, and put the correct oil pan on it, and put it back in the car. So we're getting real close to actually having a complete car again. There's still a bunch of little stuff to address, and we'll get into that in some later videos. And Daisy's down here on the floor, and she wants to say hi real quick. So you cleaning up so they can see you? I've had some people say I never picked you up. Yeah, you like being held, don't you? So guys, that's going to bring us to the end of this video. So if you haven't yet, make sure you check out Kentucky Mustang. There'll be a link down in the description below and that discount code like I mentioned a couple times in this video. And if you haven't yet, make sure you hit that like button on this video, share them with your friends. If you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button because it does help the channel grow. And I look forward to everybody's comments down below. So until the next one guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you at the next video.